Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is the Warm Down Podcast. I am delighted to be joined by one of your favourite guests actually. This is my Granddad John. If you've not seen the previous stuff that we've already done, we did a little bit of a Munich documentary. If you go and search that out on my channel. And also one just talking about the history of Manchester United from when my granddad was a lad. The things he's seen and all that sort of stuff. We've got loads of questions for you, but they're going to be from you guys. That's going to be in part 2, so make sure to check out part 2. It'll be uploaded about 3 or 4 hours after this one, so go and check that one out if this is the first one that you've come to. If not, let's get straight into it, and we're going to be talking about United, we're going to be talking about the league, we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff, so let's kick it off. Manchester United drawn yesterday, 14th draw of the season against Swansea. One more win out of all of those draws and we're in 3rd place. It's not the end of the world, is it? But it feels like it a bit at the moment.
Feels terrible. When you think about it, a goal, it's just goals. United's been brilliant in defence.
Second best in the country,
yeah. I think they're 3rd in all of football, right into Scotland and everything. But anyway, brilliant in defence. He just wanted about 10 more goals. In the draws a bit be better, but about 10 more goals. And they'd be with Chelsea, actually.
I think I was working out before, and I wasn't being super scientific on it. I was just sort of doing it in my head real quick on the fly. Our away record is 16 played, 10 wins, 4 draws, 2 losses. If you apply that points per game sort of roughly on what we've done at home, that would be a few more wins, obviously like 6 less draws and another loss. I think I worked it out that we would be on 75 points, which would put us 2 off Tottenham. And do you know what? That feels like fair, doesn't it, for this season, where you would say we're at? Maybe not above them, but no.
If that would have happened, they still wouldn't have been there. Or they'd have still only been average, really. Because when you look at the points now and the goals they've scored, they're very, very, very low for average. They would be
the goals that we've scored?
Yeah, the goals are terrible.
Well, why do you think that is then? Because people are maybe having a go at Zlatan for not quite hitting, because he's had a hell of a lot of chances. He's not been as accurate as he normally would. He's converting around about 15% of his chances. Normally you'd expect him.
Who's this?
Zlatan.
Yeah, yeah.
But he'd normally convert 20 to 25% of his chances. Now, if he'd have done that, he'd be on 50 goals.
Yeah, but that's very, very hard in England for some daft reason.
But he's had the chances. His finishing rate over his entire career has been between 20 and 25. It's 15 at the moment. So even just to match what he already does per shot, he'd have been on 40, 50 goals.
And I think, obviously, with that, it's a lot of confidence anyway, obviously, with a goal scorer, in my mind. But think about it, he's playing with these guys that haven't got confidence because there's no one else scoring.
True, yeah. I mean, that's what I was going to come to actually when I was saying, do you blame Zlatan? And I was going to say, look, he is by far and away our leading goal scorer. Without the injury, I'm sure he would have got 30. He was 2 off it.
But he's still well up in all the goal scorers. Of
course he is, yeah.
So you can't argue with it, really.
But no one, apart from Mata, then, is over 10. So you're looking at the gap there.
That's what I mean. It's the team itself is not scoring, other than Zlatan. It's a good job he's there, really, isn't it? We've been down with Sunderland. But no, he's got to have confidence as well. He's not God. He's still got to have confidence.
Well, I think he thinks he is.
He might think he is, yeah, but I don't think he is. He's got to have confidence, and there's no one round him that's giving him confidence. Obviously, no one's scoring. So it's a great shame that people like Rooney's not there to do what he used to do. And for his age, he should be, because Zlatan's 4 or 5 years older than him. You know, so he's not an old man yet, Rooney.
But he's got a lot of miles on his clock, though, hasn't he? He was first team from 16. He's had a lot of injuries. Doesn't look after himself.
Yeah, well, was Zlatan? I don't even know when he started. Really, you know, there's a lot
17,
of players.
I think. But he's someone that has always been in top shape. Never really had serious injuries, and then till he comes to United.
Oh yeah, it might be a bit of Guinness as well. With Rooney, I don't know, but if he'd have hit he's only got to hit 5 goals and he then draws, and away we go. We're up near the top. But it's got to be a confidence with Zlatan, and people giving him confidence that if he misses, someone puts in. You know, there's no one going past him. So he's going to have a shot. Well, he'll get it. You know, I've made a balls of it, and he'll do it.
So what do you say to the people that have been saying that without Zlatan in the team, United do look a little bit more fluid? Because I think we do look a bit quicker in the final.
It's very funny. In the last 5 games or so, 4 or 5 games, he hasn't scored, has he? Zlatan hasn't scored. It's about 4 games.
I can't remember when he last scored, actually.
Yeah, well, I think it's about 4 or 5 games. The young lads have gone on. They'll have to go on now anyway, because he's gone. But, yeah, we have been good. This week has been terrible, this draw. Because the week before, I thought, oops, we're going into the top 4 here. And we would have been now in the top 4. We'd have been above City. We'd have been above Liverpool, who are playing at this moment now. So we'd have been 3rd in the league just through this draw this weekend.
Everyone's perception is that we've been absolutely dog shit all season.
Yeah.
Which isn't the case, but we've also not been quite there. I think we've missed Pogba these last couple of matches. I think people that couldn't really understand what Pogba was doing, I think they've been showing up a little bit now. We didn't create.
There's the other thing, the way they've got to play as well. They've got 4 defenders out. So the other lads are watching it as well. I think they're watching for them defenders. Now Rowe's out as well. Whatever you want to call him, Bailey, as I always say, he's out now. So these other players.
Well, they was forming a right partnership, them two as well.
Yeah, but these other players will be watching that defence now, knowing that they've got young lads in. So that's losing a lot of confidence with these lads now. They're not up the field. You've only got Rashford throwing himself up there, but all the midfielders now have got to watch the defence as well.
Because what midfield? We've got 12 fit players in total.
Yeah, but the ones that's playing midfield are watching them as well, and then try to get forward. At this moment, anyway, it's a bad sign, and we've got a right fixture list coming up, haven't we?
I worry for Thursday, and then I worry for the 2. I think Arsenal are beatable. I think if you attack them, they crumble. I've always felt that about Wenger's teams. I think if you front them up, I think you beat them.
I've always thought that even coming up to this fixture, that they'd beat Arsenal, and it's dodgy against Tottenham anyway now.
Yeah, and it's their last game at the Lane. But we know when it's a big occasion ourselves sometimes that you're playing the occasion and not the team in front of you. And if the league's already gone for Spurs, they might not be as difficult as a prospect. And we've already played very well against them.
Yeah, but it won't be, will it? It's only a week on Saturday when you play Spurs.
So we don't know who's back. You would expect possibly Bailly back he's got a strain. We're not sure what the crack is with Pogba. Matt, was on the bench at weekend, seemingly over what was wrong with him. And then you've got Fosu Mensah. I don't know how long he's going to be out.
It's central defenders, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they've had it, I think, now, Smalling and John.
Well, the way he's calling them out in press conferences.
And that's been hard, really. Do you know, if you think of it, sometimes when you're watching Jose, but he seems to dislike English players. For some reason, he's destroying Shaw, and I thought he was a great player, Shaw. And now these lads are trying to get fit again, and he's calling them soft. And he's never plays Rooney. Whether he's got something against English players, I don't know.
Maybe. I think the evidence probably stacks up in that favour.
Well, it does, doesn't it? It seems daft. I mean, Shaw is destroying him.
Well, he is, but he's also bringing him back into the team on occasion. Obviously, he's not. I mean, he does, and then he's got injured again. But
he's injured again now. Yeah, so there you go.
I think if you look at the players that he has cussed out, he's brought them back in. Whereas the players that he actually let go, he only had positive things to say about him. He only had positive things to say about Memphis and Schneiderlin, and he sold them. Yeah. So I think that maybe he's cussing these out because he actually cares and he actually thinks there's a player there. And Zlatan also said in one of his books, don't listen to what Jose says in a press conference. He goes, if I've got something to tell you, he goes, I tell you. Yeah. He goes, what I tell them
it might be the case.
Is what I'm telling them.
It might be the case. But I hope it is that case, not the case that I think now and again, that he's just slagging them off. And with them being young lads, it could really stop them. The way he's done it with Shaw, I mean, that was unbelievable, wasn't he? He was like saying, I don't like him. And then saying, no, he's not leaving here. He's 23-year-old.
He's not even that old, I don't think. He's 21, I think.
I think he's 23 this year now.
I'm pretty sure he's younger than that.
But anyway, he's only young if he's 23, isn't he?
He's 21.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah, 21. I mean, he's had a horrific time with
And
injuries.
how long ago was it he bought him? 2 years, is it? 18 months? Or is it more?
This might be his third year. I think.
Yeah, so
Coming up on his third
he
year.
was only a kid, really, when he bought him. And he got injured bad, didn't he? He got a bad injury.
I think it can take a player a long time to get over a leg break. Like.
Yeah, and I think he's a brilliant player. First seen him for Southampton against United, Jesus. I thought he was going to be Jack the Lad.
But do you not think
I couldn't
Mourinho's...
believe when he bought him, how lucky he was to get him, actually, as a young kid.
Well, we did pay a lot, though, for him, like 30 million, I think we paid for him.
I know.
I think that removes the luck element out of it, I think. If you look at some of the ways that he is pushing players, do you not think that... Because this is a question I think someone's already asked us, but I'll put it to you now. Do you think there's an element of players that just... There's no grit in players no more? And do you think maybe Jose's trying to find those who've got the fight in them? Yeah. If he thinks that Smalling and Jones are fit, because he said they've not made themselves available for selection. So I'm thinking, he only says that, and again, this is me not taking my own advice of not listening to Jose, but I can only go off what he's saying. If he's saying that they've not made themselves available for selection, surely in his head, they're fit, but they're saying they're not.
Yeah.
So is he... it's a two-part question, really. One, do you think there's a lack of grit in the modern game? And two, do you think that's what Jose's trying to do when he cussed out Lingard, when he cussed out Mkhitaryan, when he cussed out Rashford, and he's done it with Marshall, and he's done it with Shaw? Do you think he's trying to push the character of these lads to see what they've got?
To pick them up a bit, maybe. But...
Well, we'll just find out where they're at, because he obviously thinks this is a team capable of, or ultimately capable of, competing in Europe and competing for the league. And you can't have pussies while you're doing that. You've obviously got to find, people that are mad for it.
Well, if you can pick them up, but these two lads are great, Smalling and Jones. It's just that you get injured. So I don't think they want you pushing that much, and I don't think that they're being soft at all. I think if they could get back in the team, they'd get back in it now. Especially now because he needs them.
Jesus, yeah.
Very badly. So I don't think they'd be kidding. Unless, as you say, that he'd say that whether he was fit or not, just to push him. But with Shaw, he's not doing that.
And you also know that Jose does, like Fergie, perhaps not as subtle, like to deflect. So the result doesn't go his way. Talks all sorts of shit about all sorts of shit. So people are talking about what he said rather than the fact that the team failed to get another victory at home.
Well, I don't know. He's a clever man, there's no doubt about it. He was 10, 12 years ago. And he's been cleverer since, actually, in other clubs. No, I don't think he... I think when all the team was there, that he's made a balls up here, especially in no-score draws. In other words, the defence was unbelievable. And it still is. They've only had a few goals scored against them.
Been a lot of draws.
And it's goals. He hasn't got a goal scorer, really. He got Zlatan. And I think he's done great first year here and all that. But one goal scorer is no good. How can he score 60, 70 goals like they do with one goal scorer?
Yeah, there is that. There's an over-reliance on Zlatan, undoubtedly. But there's also the case where there has been opportunities where we've just not been able to see a victory out, where a previous United side might have, like the Arsenal game at home. We absolutely bullied them off the park. That midfield three, Carrera and Pogba, completely obliterated that Arsenal side. But we allow them in the last 5-10 minutes and they score. Everton away, stupid mistake from Fellaini. I'm not going to crucify Fellaini for it. Every player makes stupid little mistakes, but there's a stupid mistake from a United player. We capitulate and we allow them back into the game. And this has happened time and time again this season where we've been on top. Normally, it's not usually that way, is it? It's usually United fighting to the end to get something out of a game. But there's been occasions this year where we've been on top and let it slip.
Well, the old Fergie time's gone, isn't it?
Well gone.
That's what we used to do, is we could be down and still score at the end. But we're not scoring at any time now. The defence is great. It's perfect, even now with all the lads out.
Is that a tactical thing from Mourinho, where the way he sets the team up enables us to defend?
He must get the defence right. There's no doubt about that. He done it with Chelsea, didn't he? Well, the first time he was at Chelsea, he was perfect. funny enough, with English players. But yeah, I think he has the defence right for with some way or another. But I think he must be sick as a parrot about the goal scoring. You know, he's got a great lad there.
Yeah, I've just done a bit of googling because I knew there was others as well. Stoke. We allowed Stoke back into the game. That was the first of them draws where the keeper had a worldie.
Burnley.
Yeah, was that 0-0 that one, Burnley, wasn't it? Yeah, Burnley was 0-0. Arsenal, we let them back into it late. I think West Ham was another one where we let them back into it late. No, Sacco scored after 2, we scored after 20.
Didn't we draw with Middlesbrough?
I think we beat Borough. Yeah, we beat Borough. Yeah, we beat Borough home and away, I think. Yeah, home and away we beat them.
Right. There was another low team. Well, there's a few low teams.
Hull, we got a 0-0 at home against. That was
almost, yeah.
Keeper had an absolute game of his life. Liverpool, the Liverpool home and away ones, justified draws. We played for a draw at home. We didn't. Sorry, we played for a draw away. We got it. You know, that's a good result. You know, and then at home we wasn't good enough. Everton at home. We get back into it at the absolute death with a penalty from Zlatan. West Brom a 0-0 at home. Bournemouth a 1-1. Was that one that we capitulated at the end? No, not really at the end. They scored before half time.
You see, nearly all of them are low teams.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter about them scoring one. They 1-1 things and all that. United should score more than one.
We should score more
all the time.
But it's not the way Mourinho set us up, is it? We're having Pogba had the most completed passes in an opponent's final third. We've created the third most chances behind Liverpool. We've had the second highest amount of shots on goal behind Tottenham by only 0.1 of a goal. So we're not setting up defensively. We are going for teams. We
haven't got another goal scorer.
It's the conversion rate of shots to goals across the whole team.
Pogba, an attacking wing half, he never scores.
Wing half?
Well, that's what I said. Midfield play. What do you call?
Fucking hell's a wing half?
Well, that's what it is, isn't it?
I don't fucking know what one is.
Midfield player. All right. I think it's a midfield player. What is a midfield player? Walks about in the middle. Yeah, attacking wing half. It's good, that, isn't it? He's not on the wing, and he's not a centre.
You're probably fucking right, in all honesty.
He's not halfway.
Yeah, we've just not scored. Put a few past Reading and Wigan. Ultimately, led to nothing. We put a few past some rubbish teams in the cup. We're coming away with a League Cup at the end of this season, but I think people will still view it as a failure if we don't manage to secure Champions League football, because we're going to lose massive amounts of cash from Adidas, which is obviously a factor in everything nowadays. But also prestige of the club-wise. We've got to be in that Champions League. I think we'll still attract players in the summer, but that's where you want to be. You don't want to be on Thursday night in the arsehole of Russia. You want to be playing, you want to be playing Real Madrid. You want to be playing Barcelona and Bayern Munich and Juventus. That's the night.
They've got a problem now. They've got 2 ways still to go in the Champions League, but this looks dodgy now with Celta Vigo, doesn't it?
Well, we've got
because of the team.
We need 4 results in 4 matches, essentially. That Crystal Palace match, we might as well forget about that. That Southampton match, forget about that for now. We basically got to be looking at essentially 4 results from 4 matches with a half of a squad. That's all we've got at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, half a squad.
And you can't do much about that. Anyway, if he does anything now, then he's a brilliant manager.
There's going to be a lot of people shut up in it. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that we actually finish comfortably inside this top 4 if Liverpool cock it up tonight. I mean, by the time this is uploaded, we might look stupid. They might have won 5-0. Absolutely moonwalked it. So, I mean...
Yeah, it's not... We shouldn't be able to rely on other people anyway. If they'd have won yesterday...
Yeah, it'd have been like, whatever.
We wouldn't have to rely on anyway. You've got to do it yourself.
4 games to go. I wouldn't have expected us to be in this position. I did think we had the possibility of winning the league, and I don't think I've been that far out of the realm, really, with it. I thought Chelsea would come second, so I wasn't too far off with Chelsea. I thought City would come third. I did think Arsenal was going to fall off, but they look like they could be really struggling. They might not even end up above.
I really didn't expect Liverpool to be here now, to tell you the truth. Round about Christmas, I said, they'll come down a bit then. I thought it was between them 4, actually. Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal and City. It's the way we was at the time.
Oh, God, yeah.
So
Around Christmas,
we couldn't say us. So that was that. But I thought Liverpool had fell away. So they've done well, really, but we've let them, actually. We've let them in. And now, actually, we've let City in now.
Yeah.
City and Liverpool, we should be above.
Yep.
Even one goal yesterday.
Yep.
One more goal again.
One more goal.
Again.
The story of the season is these draws. It's the draws at home, and you can look to every single one of those. And I hate talking about the referees because it always comes across as bitter. It never comes across as objective. But there's been some horrific refereeing decisions go for us and against us. But there's probably been at least twice as many against us as for of us. And a lot of those was match result deciding decisions. I mean, the City game at home alone.
Obviously, well, it was going to be anyway with all these draws, wasn't it? If you've got a wrong decision and you get a draw,
yeah,
you've
it's
had
a game changer, isn't it?
It's massively, a goal gone. That is the main thing, is them draws with the goals they've scored in them. I mean, you get a draw, one each, no score. They don't go two each or three each.
I don't think we've had anything close. We had a 3-2 Southampton in the final, didn't we? We've had nothing even close to that.
No, it's all 1-0, one each, or no score.
Yeah.
All the draws. And that's goals. Not the defence is right, isn't it?
Yeah.
They haven't scored against. They've only scored one goal against them.
What do you make of that then? So 23rd of October, we get smashed off Chelsea, and I said at the time the scoreline did flatter Chelsea massively because they'd scored 4 goals from 4 on-target shots. Now, if you look, we're having 17 shots a game. You know, think about what scoreline half of our game should be if you had 100% shooting accuracy. The end of the game, with 5 shots on target, we had 4 shots on target. You know what I mean? So we get nilled and they end up scoring 4. You know, the game didn't quite say what 4-0 was sort of saying, but since then we haven't lost in the league. We have gone quite far in all of the cup competitions, apart from what happened at the bridge with Herrera getting sent off, and I think that completely changed us. We saw what Jose tried to do in the league match following that, where we looked good. No, I think we had a real good goal against the Chelsea side that's tons more rested than we are.
Yeah, it's very, very hard now to put your fingers on it because except for saying that, they haven't scored the goals.
Yeah.
The defence is brilliant, or has been brilliant. Whatever you say about it, if other teams might say we should have scored 10 that day, there was one, I think it was 37 attempts on goal. Whether it was off or on, I don't know, but it was the most ever in the Premier.
I want to say that was Burnley or Stoke. Let me just have a look.
37 attempts on goal, and I think we got a draw.
Of course we got a draw.
I don't think it was. I don't even know the score. Well, obviously it was one apiece or no score.
It wasn't the Burnley game. We had 16 shots against Burnley.
It was a 30 odd.
I think it was Stoke.
Attempts on goal. So that just shows you, doesn't it?
Which one was it? It was the home one. So 2 draws against them. Where is it? Team stats. Where's the stats? Stats. 24 shots against Stoke, 60 odd.
Well, there was one that was 30 odd, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because he said it was a record in the Premier.
Doesn't shock me. Yeah, I can't remember which game that was actually.
So anyway, it's by and by anyway, but it just shows you that they're just not scoring. That's that.
Yeah.
And if you could turn it over and said half of them draws they'd have scored, Jesus, we'd have been with Chelsea.
What do you think he's going to do in the summer? Who do you think he's going to replace? Who do you think? Because I think that it feels like a massive clear out. And if I'm Jones and Smalling, I think I'm definitely looking up moving vans.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that if I was Jose. You know, because what have they done wrong, playing wise?
You obviously don't rate them or don't like them.
Well, actually, all the defence, even the ones that's come in now, they're getting 1 goal against them. There's no one getting hammered now.
No.
There's no time they're getting hammered. Well, they're not getting goals scored against.
When was the last time someone scored 2 against us? No one scored more than 2 against us since Chelsea in October. I think I'm reading that right, aren't I? Yeah. Well, in the league at least, we lost 1-0 to Chelsea. Hull put 2 past us, I guess, but they'd massively gone for it, hadn't they, in the semi-final second leg. Fenerbahce put a couple past us away. But yeah, apart from that, like they're keeping opposition to the absolute bare minimum.
It's unbelievable the goals against. It's like about a third in the whole, even down to Scotland and everything in all the football.
I saw a stat the other week, which we had a joint best defence. I think it was with Juventus and Bayern Munich because it was on points per goals per 90 minutes. Obviously, we've conceded more, but we've played loads more than everybody else as well in all different competitions.
Well, you know, when you look at it, even if you go in that way, Italy, you never scored a goal there.
Yeah, so we've got a good defence as Juventus who are smashing it over there. Bayern Munich who are smashing it now in Germany.
But if you've got the least goals with anybody in Italy, you're not doing bad because it's unbelievable the defence is in there. You never score against them.
There's talk of us signing half of these lads from Monaco. There's talk of us signing Rodriguez from Madrid. There's talk of Griezmann from Madrid.
Yeah, Griezmann. Yeah, I think he'll come here by the looks of it anyway, what I've read this week. But how can you tell with Jose? He might get rid of every Englishman that's there.
He might, but there's a quota that they have to adhere to, which I think is like 8 English players and 4 of which have to be homegrown. I think that might be in the ballpark of right. In which case, if this talk like Carrick might be moved on, just end of his contract. At the moment, he's not got one. It smells like Rooney's going. He was asked again the other day, and he goes, "I answered that question in February." Like, well, you're being asked about it now, so what's the crack? That's a yes, innit? That's a yes without saying yes, basically. That's like when all those cyclists used to say, "Oh, I've never failed a drug test." So it's not what I asked you, is it? I asked you taking steroids. So there's potentially Rooney, there's potentially Carrick, there's potentially Ashley Young could be moved on, there's potential like Smalling and Jones could be moved on.
Carrick is getting there now, and he's been there a long while.
Hell of a career he's had though.
Yeah, but he's I don't know how old he is actually. How old is Carrick?
He's 35, I think.
Yeah, well there you go. And a midfielder, you know, he's got to run about a bit, hasn't he?
So who you're looking at being left? You're looking at Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rashford, and Luke Shaw, who, you know, let's face it, might not be the most secure Englishman ever. So the talk of us signing the likes of Michael Keane and even fucking John Terry might not be that crazy, actually.
Oh, yeah, Terry's at it now, and he's got speed now, Terry.
I've never rated him anyway.
Well, yeah, he can't turn and run after you now, can he? You push the ball past him. I don't think he makes it now.
Borthwick Jackson, Tuanzebe. That's it, isn't it?
I don't think he can get rid of all them English there, you know.
I think he could.
I don't think he'll get rid of them, Smalling and Jones. The other ones there, they're only kids, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's not many there at all. But
Sam Johnson and who's on the bottom there? Jackson,
yeah, Borthwick Jackson. In exile at the minute at Wolves.
Yeah.
They're not playing.
But I don't think he'll get rid of the 2 centre-backs. Not yet, anyway. He hasn't got anything to come back out yet, has he?
I reckon they're on decent dosh, and I think if he's got people lined up, I think he might pull the trigger. I wouldn't be surprised anyway. But then, you know, there's Rojo's out until January. There's a little bit of talk that, you know, with him being out till January, Jose's got the money to throw around. He might go and replace him, which is unlucky for Rojo, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's been a bad few. Well, is it about 4 or 5 weeks now?
Yeah, nothing has gone right in it, I think.
Especially with the lads on England duty, training when he got injured. Training. Well, you know, that's life, isn't it? And then Rojo and who else was he? Zlatan.
Zlatan.
Yeah, whatever. You know, it's been unlucky, hasn't it? You know, got,
but how much does luck play into
left.
it? So you can say, oh, we was unlucky in every single one of those draws. Ultimately, we ended up with 14 draws. At what point does it not become luck, and does it become something that someone needs to fix?
Well, it is now. Oh, no, it is now. The defence is right. So they haven't scored, and that's that. The forwards have let them down. Or, I don't think they've let them down, actually, in one way. Rashford has scored a couple now, as he's come in, but he didn't play him. After most of the season, he hasn't played him.
Well, he's come off the bench 20 times. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, but late on. And I always think it's wrong anyway, that bench like, because they come on 10 minutes to go. By the time they got into the game, he blew the whistle.
Well, Fosu Mensah's had a minute here and there, hasn't he? I mean,
yeah, I think it's to slow the game half the time, isn't it?
Yeah, some of them are, to just run out injury time, which is it's an unfortunate tactic. Because I think,
and you know, they've not missed it. We're talking about that. It nearly looks like it. What's not missed up now, I'm giving them and Malta all this crap about United is going to be fourth. In the fourth, I should say, in the top 4. And I haven't heard from him since yesterday, so I might be in the crap in Malta. David Tanti and Oh, the nice lad though, Tony Camilleri. But anyway, yeah, it's a sickener, I bet, for these lads, you know, that support them from that far away. And where did we hear from? Philippines.
Who did?
Last time we'd done a...
Oh,
about the Munich thing.
The Munich thing. Oh, Christ, yeah, we got people from everywhere. That
Philippines,
was commenting on
Malta, where else was it? China, wasn't it?
It was everywhere, literally everywhere. Yeah,
Thailand.
South America, North America, all over Africa. Yeah, it got a great response.
And Malta.
Quite so, and Malta, yeah.
And Malta.
And quite rightly so. It's one of the things that I'm really proud of. I think we edited it really well, and I think it was shot really well. I think it's a good little video. If you've not seen it, go check it out. But yeah, I think United are going to spend in the summer, and I'm torn between whether I'd like. I think it's a foregone conclusion now. I think he's moving on, but I'm torn on whether or not I'm with that. In like that's what I want to happen with Zlatan, because I think there's been so much upheaval that I think sometimes you just need a bit of stability in a club. And I think if he does bin a load this summer and sign a load more, and this...
You know, it's his first season, you'll say, and I was a real fan of his, still am obviously, but his time was when Fergie retired. I think if it had come that year, they just won the league by 11 points. He wouldn't have done what David Moyes done. He wouldn't have changed the team like he did. He might have changed it in the end, but he would have given it 2 or 3 months. By that time, I think Moyes was on his way. But he'd have given it till then before he started changing the team of Fergie's that had just won the title. He wouldn't have done it like Moyes did. So and then we wouldn't have had Van Gaal, who just didn't play it, and that's that. But if he'd have come when David Moyes come instead of David Moyes, I think we'd have won the title since.
At that time, United was in for, or was it the season before? We might have been in for Bale that summer. I think that might have been the season before though. But we was in for Fabregas and Woodward fucked it up. We was in for, and I don't think Mourinho would have stood for half of the stuff that Moyes probably had to stand for. In terms of Woodward learning the ropes when he first became CEO or whatever it is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He'd have come in here and he'd have watched it for a couple of months. And I think he'd have played that side, near enough that side what Fergie was playing.
What did Moyes bring in? He brought in Fellaini, and then I think Woodward signed Mata in the summer. But
he played the players.
In the winter.
He played the players, like Nani and that that Fergie wasn't playing, that had won the title. The other players had won the title, and he brought them in. He started changing the team with the players that was already in United.
We also had a serious amount of experience in the back line, which we lost, which I think Louis van Gaal really suffered from. Paddy Evra. You see the videos that he puts out where he's just singing and stuff. I mean, that guy must make training and being in that dressing room so much better just by the fact that he's there. Vidic, Rio, yes, they was at the end of their careers. Yes, they wasn't as good and they wasn't at the peak. But you know that Jose Mourinho loves them experienced players. And he would have put his trust in them. He would have found a way. Let's go back to this one, actually, as well. We're talking about Zlatan. He's been great for us this season as a 35-year-old.
Yeah.
What do you think he could have done at Old Trafford 6, 7, 8 years ago?
Well, you can say that, can't you? But it'd have been he'd have been a lot better than he is now. Because he's proved that 6 and 7 years ago. He was great. But then he'd have had Fergie, wouldn't he? And Fergie managed players, and he'd have brought the best out of him anyway. There's no doubt about that. He wouldn't have to kick a boot at him, would he? sorry, Alex. No, it'd have been great, yeah. Messi would have been good as well. And Xavi, Iniesta.
Yeah, I'm not sure he was ever going to get them.
But would he have got him 7 years ago?
Where was he 7 years ago? I don't even know. He's had 6 clubs since then, I think.
Yeah.
Joey scored 250 goals since he was turned 30.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, he's been well, yeah.
That's fucking incredible.
He's won some titles as well. In different countries, which is good.
Not in Europe, though. That's always eluded him.
Not Europe, what?
I don't think he's won it in Europe. I don't think he won it with Jose at Inter, I don't think. I think he's won shitloads of titles, but I don't think he's won a European Cup. I'll just have a quick Google, because I'm not 100% certain of that. Honours.
Yeah, I think he's won the title in Europe, hasn't he?
No. He's won a Super Cup. No, he's not won a Champions League. He's not won a Europa.
Oh, he's rubbish then.
He's done some titles in though. Done it with Barcelona. Done 3 with Inter. Done 2 with Juventus. Although those both got revoked because of the won Eredivisie with
Titles.
Ajax.
That's what we're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, we're not European. Not a European Cup or Europa. But he's won leagues.
Oh,
won
no,
leagues.
that's what I was talking about.
Oh, he's won leagues everywhere, yeah. Absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
4 on a bounce with Paris.
Has he not won a European Cup with anyone, you know?
No, never won a European Cup. I think he's only finished second in the league like 2 or 3 times as well. So I think you can go for...
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was talking about, really. He goes so close to win the championship.
Yeah.
Except United.
Yeah. Combo breaker, as always, from United. So, right, stick your money where your mouth is. We got, I think, 6, potentially 7 matches left. I think it's... Is it 6? Yeah, it is. Yeah, 4 in the league, 2 in Europa. Could be 7. How does this season play out? Back end of May, what are we going to look back and say that we've done?
I think we won the Europa Cup. I still think we won it.
We're winning it?
I think so, yeah.
I fucking don't know how.
Yeah, I think we will. Because the lads he's bringing in to defend are still defending, like the others did.
But who's going to score? And who's going to supply the goals?
I think...
Without Pogba, I think we're fucked.
Mkhitaryan and Rashford will get goals.
Okay, so we're going to get through Celta Vigo.
I think so, yeah.
I think he goes hard against Celta Vigo and he goes hard again on the Sunday against... Is it Arsenal or Spurs this week?
Spurs the week after, yeah. No,
is it Arsenal this week? It is Arsenal this week, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it's not.
I think it is.
No, it's not.
You sure?
Arsenal later on.
No, Arsenal's next week, I think.
They're the 14th, Spurs.
Yeah, so Arsenal's the 7th. Yeah, Arsenal's is this week.
Oh, is it?
Arsenal's this Sunday, right? So
they got 2 away games.
I think he goes hard on Arsenal. I think that's his last play of a hand against Arsenal.
I think he'll beat Arsenal anyway. I've thought that a few weeks now.
I think if we do beat Arsenal, we're in the mix. 3 to go.
What they need, they'll still defend well, I think. And what they need is them young lads now to score.
He needs to play them to get them to score. He's only got Rashford, who's a young lad that's in the mix. He's not going to play. He might play He's got
to play him.
He's got no more choice, really, has he?
He's got the speed, you see, Rashford.
I think Paul Scholes is probably going to get a phone call before Tuanzebe plays at centre half.
But he's got to have that. He's got to have someone like them, someone behind him, like Matson and that. He's got to come in again. And I think he's going to come in because he was on suspension, wasn't he? Yeah. So there you go. There's a midfielder. Who else we got?
So I think he goes hard for Celta Vigo. I think we're away first. Probably be able to see it here.
He'll have Marshall in, won't he?
We're away. Yeah, we're away. So I think he kind of goes for it, Celta Vigo away, and we get a draw or a decent away goal, or possibly even win. Then I think he goes hard again, as hard as he can go on Sunday against Arsenal. And I think the result of that game will tell him what to do for the rest of the season. Because then I think if we're in a position where we're still in the mixer, I think you've got to play both tables. I think you've got to play the Europa table. You've got to play the Championship table.
I think he'll still go that way because, yeah, you're right. Because he'll go for the Europa Cup.
Oh, undoubtedly, yeah. I think that's his priority at the moment.
It's only 3 games, you know, and there's just one big one, isn't there, at the end?
You technically only need to win one of them.
Yeah.
You can draw 1-1 away and draw 0-0 at home, and we're definitely capable of doing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're still doing it with the defence.
But beating... I think Celta's not a major issue. I hope that doesn't fucking come back to bite me, but I think what is a major issue is... Potentially a major issue is Ajax or Lyon in the final. That's a problem. But then you're looking at a final, and you're looking at Jose Mourinho. The motherfucker don't lose finals, so...
It's not a Champions League final, is it? You know, actually, Europa League, you're all losers anyway, aren't you? Aren't you? You're not there because you're winners.
Very true.
It's the Runners-Up Cup, isn't it?
Not even.
Not even that, yeah.
Not even fucking well far down that pecking order.
Well, yeah, and some of them tried the Champions League and got back in that. Got knocked back into that.
So we're going to win the Europa Cup. What are we doing in the league then?
I think it's going to be 5th.
I think you're right. I do think
I do.
you're right.
I think it's going to be 5th, and I hate that because Liverpool will be the 4th.
But it opens up the possibility for meeting them in the Champions League next year, which is fucking tasty.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not worried about that shit next year at the moment. You know, if he does what I've just said, it's unbelievable what he's done in his first year. It's what Pep's done.
2 cups, put him in the Champions League, yeah. It's a shame that we can't knock City out.
3 trophies.
I'm not counting the charity shield.
You've got to do, because everybody else puts it on the list now.
Fuck them.
I know, but you've got to do it. It still went out at Wembley, didn't he? So
He did.
If he can get this Europa Cup,
I'm not counting it though. Yeah, it'd been great to knock Pep into 5th and see him completely capitulate on everything that Pellegrini did, even with all the support that he got ahead of Pellegrini. Pellegrini's outperformed him on every competition so far, apart from the Premier League.
Yeah.
So it'd be great to knock City into 5th. Who knows? They could fuck it up just as much as
I don't think it will actually. I think they'll be above. No. I think
I'd be surprised if
they'll be above Liverpool. City now.
Yeah, doable.
We slips up this weekend, and that's that. If we had won this weekend, even so, you still what the team they've got now, they still matter not. They could have won yesterday and still be 5th.
Yeah, and
because of the team.
And we can go to Arsenal and get a result, and then lose to Spurs and fuck it up on the last day against Crystal Palace at home and draw. Because let's face it, if I was doing some odds now, I can get all the Paddy Power and I'd say, just give me the odds for United to draw these last 4 games in the league.
Yeah. Well, they're doing well to draw the 4, because I don't think they'll get a draw at Spurs.
I don't know.
They'll be fighting like hell because they'll still be.
They can, yeah. They still think they can win the league, yeah. They can push it all the to the wire.
Could be still champions.
Right, that will do us there, I think. This is the end of part 1. We've got a few questions that we're going to answer, so head over to part 2. We've got your questions from Reddit. So thank you to my granddad. Please subscribe, and if you're listening to the audio version of this, it's going out in a 1er anyway, so never mind. But thank you guys for watching. Get any of your questions and comments in again, and I reckon before the start of next season we'll get you on again.
Yes, thank you.
And see how it goes down.
Thank you very much.
Right, sorted. See you in a bit.
Bye bye.